Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do my intro for SUMMERWEEN, which is so exciting. I watch a good amount of booktube and I hadn't heard of this until a few people had mentioned it. I saw like Meg with Books mention it and then Katie is reading. But ultimately it is a readathon hosted I think July 7th to the 13th, and it's bringing Halloween and spooky vibes into the summer, which is so exciting because I'm not a summer girl. I think it's a mix of like the heat and the lack of holidays and celebration. The second like August, September hits and you can kind of smell it in the air and like get out the pumpkins and the spooky. I never pictured myself as like a horror spooky person growing up. Like Christmas is definitely my favorite holiday, but I do think fall is my favorite season. I just love like the aesthetic and like the brown tones and like the black tones and the bats and the ghosts. I just think it's so fun. The readathon is starting tomorrow and I'm gonna do a little reading vlog slash like maybe aesthetic-esque vlog of me participating. I believe there's 3 or 4 prompts and hopefully I can complete all of them. And then they also just want you to like get cozy, get spooky. I just wanted to do my intro now so then tomorrow I can start off the video. I think I'm gonna start with a Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. That's the one book I know I'm gonna read to fulfill one of the prompts, and it's kind of been staring at me since I bought it. So I think I will start with that one. One of the prompts is a thriller, which is very broad and I own and love reading them. So I think that one I'm just gonna pick in the moment depending on what I'm feeling. But maybe a Kindle read, maybe like a Frida McFadden book, because I could pick one off the Kindle or I have a few of her books physically. So I will get back to you with that, but hopefully we can make the house super cold, get super cozy, and read some spooky books. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Hi guys, happy officially SUMMERWEEN. This is the first time I'm talking to you within the week of the readathon. It is Sunday and I'm about to head into work, but I really quickly wanted to update you guys because I just finished The Only One Left by Riley Sager last night and I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna give a bit more in-depth summary later on in the week when I do my like recap, but this book had me intrigued from page 1. The twists at the end were amazing, but even the like story from the beginning was so intriguing, so enthralling. The atmosphere was a very like gothic mansion. The synopsis gives it like Lizzie Borden massacre retelling, so it also had like a true crime feel for most of the novel. So I highly recommend this book. I'm rating it 5 stars and I'm so excited I picked it up so quickly because I was a bit hesitant on reading it this time of year, but this readathon gave me the perfect excuse. Also, the cover is just incredible. The like blue and red, and then I love that they like included the setting because it was such a big part of the story, being like on the cliff with the mansion and being able to have this visual to set you up for success while reading the book. Just definitely smart choice. So this I am using to fulfill the like book set in fall prompt, and then I'm definitely planning on reading the other 2, like fulfilling the other 2 novel prompts. So one is like a book with a black and orange cover and the other is a thriller. I do have 2 kind of lined up for those, and then the other like actual prompt is to read a novella, which I would be interested in fulfilling, but I don't know. I don't really have any novellas on my radar, so if I can find one on Kindle that comes like pretty highly regarded, I would read it, but I definitely want to at least fulfill like the novel prompts. So I plan on starting probably the thriller tonight and then just go from there. But I will see you guys soon. is Monday and I wanted to give you guys a quick update. So last night I started The Housemaid by Frida McFadden and I'm really liking it so far. I've read a few of her books, so I was definitely expecting something fast-paced and a big page turner, and I think a good thing this author does is make you question the plot and the characters from the beginning, but not in like a cheesy, predictable, like, what does this mean type of way. It's just like putting all these seeds of doubt in your head. So as the story progresses, there's a lot of things that get to unravel and you're constantly searching for an answer, even if it's not like the final twist. But I'm really liking it. I'm on page 58 out of about 320. So I definitely think I'll be able to finish this today or tomorrow, because I read the first 50 pages so fast. So I'm definitely looking forward to continuing this later on. But while it is still sunny out, I have started the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and I'm also really liking this. This book I'm not really trying to read at night because it is more of a horror novel, but I really like it so far. This one, I'm also on page 55, and we just had our first encounter with the vampire, which was definitely more explicit than I thought it was going to be. So far, we are following 5 older women who are like housewives, don't have anything crazy going on in their lives, and they are in a book club, and then one of them has just encountered a vampire in her suburban neighborhood. So I definitely think it's going to have a lot of juxtaposition between like the stereotypes of like housewives in suburbia, but then with the vampires. So it is horror, but I definitely think there's going to be a lot of comedic elements. But I really like it, and it is written in third person and very punctual. Like a lot of the writing seems to be more like short clip sentences, like Mary did this, Mary and Susan thought this, and so forth. But I'm kind of liking it, and I think it's fitting the vibe of this story. So I will definitely keep you posted. I've heard mostly negative reviews about this one, but I do like it so far. So hopefully I'm in the minority and I do end up loving it. But these are the 2 books that I think will complete the novel prompts of Summerween, and I do have hopes that I will finish all of these by Friday, which will be very, very exciting. And hopefully I am able to pick up a novella in between, but we will see. So I will give you guys more updates. I'll probably check in tomorrow. I'm hoping to make progress in both of these, so we will see how far I get. See you soon. Guys, it is Thursday late afternoon, but I'm going to end the reading vlog here and give you guys a summary of all the books I read during Summerween. This whole week I thought that it was like Friday to Friday, which thinking back doesn't make much sense because like that would be more than a week, but I kept thinking it was Friday to Friday, so I thought I had a whole extra day to read, and I have a lot of free time tomorrow, so that's kind of what I was thinking throughout this whole week. But alas, it ends today. So again, I'm gonna go through all the books I read and give you guys a quick synopsis and what I thought about it. I truly loved doing this readathon. I love fall time. I've really been craving it. Like I said earlier in the video, summer is definitely not my favorite season. So I was definitely craving those fall vibes, and I'm just really excited this readathon came along when it did and helped to motivate me to pick up some more spooky books. I always forget how much I love thrillers and mysteries and horror elements within books, and I just feel like I read them faster. I really, really enjoy them. So even though the readathon is over, I definitely am planning on adding more horror books to my TBR, and then reading more like thrillers and mysteries and gothic style books consistently, because I think some of my favorite books are those, and I would love to read what I enjoy. So we are going to start with the first book I read, and that was The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I gave this 5 stars, and I absolutely loved this book. Ultimately, we are following Kit. She's a stay-in-home nurse, and she gets assigned to Lenora, who lives in this mansion, and she is believed to have murdered her entire family. The synopsis says it's like a Lizzie Borden retelling almost, but it is a Gothic style book, so you are in the mansion. It is more secluded. For the most part, it is a single location, at least where the bulk of the story takes place. You have the Gothic elements from the beginning of the story. So first page, you kind of get the vibes. It definitely is spooky, and the twists were incredible. I did not see them coming at all, and it really added to the story, and I love when a twist happens and then you were able to look back on the story, like story leading up to it, and other parts of it make sense, right? It's like the author knew what the twist would be throughout the story, and so the characters' decisions and certain actions are therefore justified at the end. So I really love when that happens in a thriller. So I highly, highly recommend this. I think Riley Sager is kind of controversial, and so far I've only read this book and The House Across the Lake by him, and I really, really love both of those books. The House Across the Lake, I will say, is definitely more subjective, and I can definitely understand why people don't like it because it takes a really random turn. I enjoyed it, and it like added to the story for me. It made sense in the book, but again, I understand why people don't like it. This one I think is more digestible for anyone. As long as you like a thriller, I recommend this for anyone. If you have read at least The House Across the Lake by him and you didn't like it, I would suggest giving this one a chance. This book is also fulfilling the A Book Set in Fall prompt for the readathon, so that is check 1. We did have 3 novel prompts at the readathon. I didn't get to a novella this week, but that's okay. I don't really read much of them. And then the next book I finished is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. In true McFadden fashion, this book was a page turner. The twists at the end kept coming. Throughout the whole story, you were questioning things, and your mind, like, my thoughts kept like switching up, and I kept wondering what was going to happen, and I had so many different ideas and theories. I will say about halfway through the book, I did have a suspicion at what the main twist was going to be, but I like that this book was layered. So you have the twist, but it includes all the characters to a certain extent. That's not the twist, like everyone's not in on it, but it does have a layered element in terms of how the characters are and how they react and act within the story, so I like that. And then the final couple pages were really cool. So you have the main twist, and then you have another little moment, which that shocked me, and it made so much sense, and now it's making me think back on the story and question some of my initial presumptions. And then you, like the final page, which I presume like leads you into the second book. So I rate this 4 stars, which is a very high rating for me, especially in regards to thrillers. I have been thinking about this book since I finished it. I enjoyed every page of it. It was a very fast read, and I would highly recommend it. I just didn't get that 5-star feeling, right? Like, it's not the most revolutionary book I've ever read, but I would highly recommend it, and I'm very excited to pick up The Housemaid's Secret, which is the second one. The Housemaid is also fulfilling the thriller prompt for the readathon. And then the last book that I've read for this readathon that I unfortunately have not finished yet is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This is for the prompt that asked you to read a book with a black or orange cover. I have gotten to page 276, and I have about 100 pages left, but I am really, really enjoying this so far. I've heard mixed reviews leaning towards more negative reviews about this book, and I don't know why. I think it is a very like witty, fun story. You have a few humor elements while you also have some heavy horror elements. I will say the horror scenes are somewhat few and far between, which maybe is what people don't like about it. Like, I think some people might view this book as slow paced because the adrenaline is not consistently building, but I actually like it because I do think the horror part is written well and it's following the same plot line, so you aren't getting taken out of the story. Like, I am enjoying every chapter, whether it is a more high stakes moment or a more kind of everyday explanatory moment. I was trying to think of the best way to describe this book, and I would say as Finlay Donovan is to a murder mystery book, this book is to a vampire book. So you have our main character, she's part of a book club, they are like middle-aged housewives. You as the reader, because of the title, but also because of the stereotypes of vampires, you are able to see what is happening, but the characters do not. And that kind of leads to a somewhat funny element. You as the reader know what's happening. So I think that's kind of a fun breaking the fourth wall moment. And I also think our main character, as the book is progressing, she's getting kind of more suspicious, for lack of better words, or more things keep happening. And I think some of the stuff is like too perfect or too easy for these events to be happening the way they are, which I think is kind of like a general consensus about Finlay Donovan, because she gets hired to be a hit woman. She obviously has no experience. Again, I will say there has been some creepy horror scenes that are pretty descriptive and like pretty creepy if you're thinking about it, so I'm a little hesitant to pick this up late at night, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm finding myself wanting to pick it up. And as of right now, this book would probably be a 4 stars, which again is quite a high rating for me. I am really, really loving it. Honestly, I would recommend it. Again, it's like a very good fall book without being too scary for me and like too high stakes. So again, I'm leaning towards a 4 stars, maybe a little bit higher, maybe lower, and I will obviously talk about this book again in my July wrap up. I had so much fun participating in this readathon. It definitely has increased my desire to read more frequently, and I definitely I've been kind of opposed to horror, but like this kind of horror, or maybe more humorous horror, I am very interested in. This is the first vampire novel I've read and I'm really enjoying it. So I am definitely excited to expand my TBR and expand my preferred genres. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to the content creators who shared this readathon with me, for creating this readathon. I've loved seeing other people's content, and next year I absolutely plan on participating. Please subscribe, please share, tag me on Bookstagram, all of that good stuff, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.